everyone. I just want to welcome you to this episode where I am talking to my friend Cijy here. We have been on a journey, our podcasting journey together. And so I'm super excited about today's podcast because she is really rocking the podcast space. And she has hit numbers that when I tell you, I wasn't even able to hit those numbers. But as a result of her dedication and commitment to doing the things that she felt were necessary to make an impact, I'm just excited to be on this journey with Cijy. So, by way of reintroducing her, because let me say this. We have actually done another episode, and I may put the episode link in the show notes, the original one. But since then, there's been so much progress. I said, okay, Cijy, we have got to do another episode. Cijy, welcome to this episode. I'm so excited to have you back again. Yay.
Thank you
Welcome.
so much. Yeah, thank you. I am looking forward to it, and thank you very much, Aldreama, for this session again with you. And yeah,
Yes. Yeah. And so what we're going to be talking about today, so we're going to be talking about Cijy's journey. We're going to be talking also about, what she does, who she serves, the fact that she's launched her podcast. When we talked the first time, we hadn't launched the podcast yet. So this time she's launched the podcast. So we're going to talk about what that feels like and all this kind of stuff. And so, Cijy, I'm so excited again to have you on the show. So tell people a little bit about, who you are, who you serve, what kind of clients do you serve, and just tell us a little bit about what you do.
yeah. So hello, everyone. Actually, well, as Aldreama said, yeah, I have done a session before with Aldreama, but this is different. This definitely feels different. And I would like to share more. I think this time I have more to share with each one of you all. And that is, well, I'm a nurse by profession. I work in intensive care for nearly 2 decades, I must say. And it's over the last couple of years. I think it's personal challenges that shaped me. Definitely, it put me into the spotlight of understanding how much I'm tailored more for women. And I believe coming from an ordinary space, being in the nursing profession and juggling between work and family and the challenges that came along, I realized that we have some amount of energy, some strength which we don't take into account, which we really dismiss. And it was like a drive. It was like a burning desire within me to to do something that will add value. And as I was focusing on whom should I serve, it always came down to women, because I have friends, many of my friends, female friends, and all of them facing challenges. And I'm like, oh my God, I have been there. I have been there in some way or the other. And today I turn back and I'm like, wow, how did I do that? And especially when you're told that it's okay to be mediocre, don't try that, don't follow your dreams. It's all those high-tech talks. You don't have to go ahead. And when someone tells me, that's one thing about me, is when someone tells me don't do something,
You might as well say, go ahead and do it.
then there's something in it. Something happens in that space. That is, I start reflecting. I'm like, well, definitely it means that you're so well able to do it that it's a threat for the other person.
Wow.
That's how I take it. When someone tells you don't do something, it means that you're so well able to do it that
Yeah.
you can actually create a ripple effect. And that often, and especially with women, we have so much of power. We are
Yeah.
life givers, we are life givers, and we carry even whole a life system within us, and we have such incredible strength, but we leave it at a mediocre level. Do you know that this is our role? We just define ourselves within the cocoon, and when we start breaking that, everyone knows that we have some, the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world, and that's true. And I start focusing on women, and I knew that it is going to be all the women whom I know of. It can be it's also looking at my mom and my sister. I think, yeah, when I do something like this, it's going to add value to them. They're going to see it. They're going to maybe take some lessons from here, and to my friends. So it was so important. And I didn't want to narrow it down to specific age group, but I felt that everyday women, that's where I come from.
Yeah.
That's where I come from. And many of whom I talk to, they all have something or the other to contribute. They want to do something, but they're so tied up with the societal norms that they just go on but are unhappy. And that's what I was focusing on. So, oh, yes, definitely. I think I have lots of stories to share. We are a cocktail of stories. I have lots of stories to share. And I think what happened after the podcast was released was interesting was people would come and talk to me and they would say, oh, so how do you do that? You just have to sit and record? I said, no. I said, well, yeah, definitely I have to record. And then you just upload it. I said, I couldn't describe that well. This has been going on for months. In my dream, in my fantasy land, I visualized that I'll be launching it somewhere in June, July, or August.
Yeah.
But it's come up to December. And I said, well, it's not as easy as we think.
Yeah.
My response was that it should come from a space of deep intention.
Absolutely.
It's not about being popular. It's not about making money, but I think it's really, really about having some impact, even if it impacts 2 people in a given spectrum. That's success.
Yeah.
Because we always take lessons from experiences, and maybe by sharing and not keeping it to ourselves, we are adding value. So no, I said, no, it's not just about recording. Definitely I sit and record, and it's my voice and I record. But I have a lovely colleague, a friend, not a colleague, my friend in Aldreama in US, sitting in US and working on these logistics. And I said, I don't know how she does it, but she does it. I just send it to her.
And she just does something.
Funniest thing is that someone asked me, so, oh, you just have to sit and talk. I said, yeah, anyone can talk, but it's what you talk. Is it coming from a space of you adding value to the other person?
Yeah.
Where does it come from? Deepest intention. And that's very important. It's really being humble and adding value.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where I come from.
Yeah.
So for me, I know I'm coming from a deep space of enormous challenges. So I'm proud of myself at this stage, that, oh, how did I do that? I really am proud of myself. And I think everyone should be proud of themselves as to how far they've come in some way or the other. It's really not about having a name somewhere highlighted in the Forbes or something. No, but it's just being a lot kinder to ourselves and then creating a ripple effect in some way or the other. So I feel nice. I really feel nice.
Yeah, I love that because one of the things that I know about you as far as the way you operate is you're always looking at the positive side. You're always looking at, the glass not half empty, and you're always coming from a space of overflow. And so that's what your podcast represents. It's like there are, even if we think it's something negative, how can we change our perspective about whatever that is happening to us or whatever situation we're facing and things like that? And so I know that, of course, what I know and a lot of people may not know, the new listeners may not know, is that you come from a space of being a nurse, an ICU nurse, and you still are. And so you see a lot of things happening. And so how did that help you to create the kind of space that you're creating even in your podcast? How did going through those things, seeing a lot of things happening in hospitals, whether it's death, trauma, just a whole lot of things. Because here's the thing. I know for me, that is not my calling. In a hospital, it takes a certain type of person to be able to work in an environment where there's a whole lot of intense situations going on. How did that help you to look at things from a different perspective? Because that's all you see are intense situations, hurry, hurry, hurry. Let's get that defibrillator on or whatever it is. How does that help you see things from a different perspective?
That's it's a very, very, it's a very deep question, but yes, definitely it demands something extraordinary to be in that space.
Yeah.
I think gratitude. I am coming from a space of gratitude. Gratitude and humility. These are 2 virtues which we cannot afford to compromise. Because if we are not grateful for what we have, we will not shine a lens of empathy on the other person.
Yeah.
I believe, if I'm not grateful for what I have, I will not consider the other person. And I think we are living in highly disconnected times, and it's gone very challenging because we don't engage with each other. We don't talk. But when I am at work, I believe that I don't look upon my patients as someone to tick the boxes and finish off the work, but it's engaging because I'm a people person. Now, even if although many of us are nurses, everyone don't spend the time to sit and talk with the patient. So I figured that when I am using the emotional wavelength, because I'm deeply a very emotional person. So I'm very connected. And I must say, I'm very much on the path of spirituality of knowing myself. So what happens is sometimes it might be just when it's at work, it might be just engaging with a patient and they just open up. And I'm like, wow, it's just the art of listening.
Wow.
And also I think as a person, I've always been like that upfront of talking and engaging with people. Now, gadgets can fret me out, but when I'm talking to people, I just adore that time, just that space. And I think what I was observing, if you ask me today, was that in the past, maybe 5 years ago, when it was my personal challenges and my professional challenges, I found that my personal challenges were higher than the professional challenges. I was able to deal with the professional challenges easily, but I felt that I'm trying to balance that at work. So I said, what is it? What strength do I have here? Because I'm balancing my personal challenges and I'm coming to work in a very stressful environment, but the stress at work is not bothering me. So there's something in me that is quite deep. And I think it's reflection, because I started reflecting on myself daily. And for me, it's not about being a doctor or being at a higher position, but being a good human being. And that is the lens that I was bringing to my work, because I start practicing meditation. And I think when I start doing that, there was an inner calmness in me. So I can exude calmness to the patients. I think it's just about being calmer, and I said, I can do that at work that is very stressful. But I know that many of my colleagues would say that, when you're around, it feels nice. It's quite calmer, because I started introducing a couple of, what do you say, quiet time at work. Quiet time at work, and, dimming the lights and playing music. So people start understanding the significance of these moments in life, and including the patients. It started impacting them. Even if it's like one or two people telling that, it makes a difference. It makes a difference. And I thought that I can bring it in my personal level, at my personal life, and definitely share it with others. Because what was happening was, you're dealing with challenges, and then you come to work and you're putting on a mask. You're not meant to combine work with life, with your personal work, work to home, home to work. You shouldn't be doing that. But I found that in the past, I would do that. It would affect me. And, I'm thinking, oh my God, how, I would try to escape and not face reality. But something hit, I hit the wall. I hit the wall, you hit the wall and you're like, no, this is not me. My values are compromised. I need to start understanding what is it. My values were compromised, and that's when I realized that I was not in charge of my life.
Wow, that's very powerful. That's very powerful. When you said your values were compromised.
Definitely.
Because a lot of times in my own personal experience, I really didn't learn or understood what that felt like. I knew something was wrong. And it's like there's this internal thing within you that says, okay, something's wrong here. And I don't know. Sometimes some people are able to identify it, especially if you learn a little bit more about emotional intelligence and things like that. And so I think over the years for me, I am starting to learn what that looks like, and I can recognize it. But growing up, I wasn't able to identify what it was. I knew there was something was wrong, but I didn't know what it was. So I didn't know how to address it. And so I love what you're saying, about compromising your values. So talk a little bit more about that, on what that feels like, because you're probably able to articulate it better than I can.
I think it started from there because generally I think what happens is when we take on a lot, especially women. So I'm talking from a women's perspective. We take on a lot, our body demands a lot, there are a lot of changes in our body, we are so cyclical and hormonal, but we have this mindset. I think it's this mindset that, women have to get on with it. That's the way it has always been, and we often neglect the self-care. So I was at a point when I didn't even understand the concept of self-care. And I have recorded a podcast just a few days ago. I recorded one in Riverside, something about loving oneself. And that's an extraordinary topic. And it came from a talk which I gave to a group of new staff. Anyway, I was feeling, every night I would do all my work and then I would go to bed and I would feel very unhappy. I figured that something isn't right, just the way you're telling, something is not right. And I was not understanding what is that. And I figured I was burnt out. And it was manifesting in physical symptoms, because we have all these emotions, but we're not expressing the emotions. We're not sharing it with anyone. We're just going on with the do mode all the time. And it was very quickly in my body, it started manifesting in terms of illnesses, sicknesses in small ways, It's the way the body is talking to you. Our body talks to us, and that's nothing but our gut instincts. So that's what it's a place of wisdom. Our gut is a place of wisdom because my gut got messed up. So I was not aligned with myself. And that's when my gut was messed up and I was not listening to my body. And then when I stepped back, I went in to do a mindfulness-based stress reduction course because I realized that something isn't right. And that's not me. That's not usual me. I'm generally very bubbly and happy. And I was in a gloomy space. And we need that darkness. We need that gloomy space because we can only see the stars in the dark.
Oh, wow. That's very powerful.
If you have to put it across the negatives are something that shapes us because the stars are always there in the sky.
That's true.
Even during broad daylight. But
that's true.
We can't see. We have to wait till it is dark. So, that dark space is actually beautiful only if we have the awareness, only if we recognize it. Either we can wallow into it and go really bottom down, or we can shine a light of awareness and pick ourselves back. It's challenging, but it's just that first step, So I figured definitely this is something called values in many ways. This is compromised. I went into this 8-week mindfulness-based stress reduction. I figured that I was so stressed out, in the past, that I was in the past or in the future, but not in the present. It's all about the present moment. Life happens in the present moment. That's the only gift we have. That's why that's the only thing. And I became so obsessed and I did this course and I started getting myself back and reflecting and journaling and daily meditation. Meditation pulled me to a very, very different space. Absolutely no doubt. We all need that quiet time because, we are so busy. We are so busy that we are disconnected from our instincts. This is my whole point. And because women take on so much, we don't listen to our body. We are constantly giving everything to others and our resources are empty. And often we all can operate from an empty cup, but it's definitely resentment and frustration. And that's when so at work, I think I was seeing a lot of patients who are younger women and young women who are at very good position, earning great, but coming up with all of a sudden with some sicknesses which just flare up, and that comes from stress. And that comes from stress. And I started understanding because I was having it in my body and I was like, that is it. This is telling a lot. And I think my work has shaped me immensely.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's an extraordinary space. It's just the reality of life. And I think it's not easy to experience that, but at the same time, that's the truth. That's a reality, every passing day is one less day in life. That's how I take it. So if I witnessed death today, I'm like, I'm grateful. I'm still here.
Yes.
I don't know we're dead tomorrow or not.
Right.
And we don't know what's around the corner.
That's right.
So the perspective, it really deepens our perspective and philosophy towards life. It gets us more wiser when you're in this profession. It gets us really wiser. Provided we choose.
Well, what I was going to say was what I love about this whole thing is that you are the things that you see in the hospital and the things that you experience on a day-to-day basis as an ICU nurse. It's like you were made for this. It's like because you get to see the effects of compromising value, how that manifests in physically in people, how stress, how those things are connected to the things that happen to people internally, how they're handling life and I know that's not the only thing you see. I know you see a whole lot more than what I'm describing, but what amazes me is how God put you in the place that you are and the things that you observe. And it's like he just formed you and he created you for this specific assignment in your life. And you can help them in such a powerful way, which goes way beyond helping them with the tools and the stethoscopes and all that. Because that when you're doing that, it's like you're looking at the effects of it, right? And I may not even be articulating it right, but I'm just amazed at how you are in that space, and it's the perfect opportunity to be able to help people because you see the effects of things. You see the physical result of things that happen internally, whether it's mental, whether it's, stress or whatever that is. And that's what I love about your story and about your journey. Now, you've been an ICU nurse for what, is it
Oh, I think close to 20 years now.
20 years? Okay, so you have seen a lot. Yeah.
And one
So
thing kept popping for me, I think, is human connection.
connection, yes.
We kind of dismiss the importance of the power of touch.
Wow.
We do, because say you're intensive care and you have someone really sick coming in and everyone is like, oh, the head doing this. Sometimes it might just be a matter of holding the patient's hand and saying, and
So good.
it makes a difference.
Yes.
Because if I have to visualize myself lying in bed and then there are 5 or 6 people all talking at the bed space and it feels extremely different.
Yes.
So when we put that lens of empathy, that empathy has to be there. Empathy is a huge word, and you have to put ourselves in that position and understand how it feels. It's about how we feel.
Yeah.
Realistically, it really because it can be a daunting place for someone coming into the unit with alarms blaring and people talking, and it's so scary. And that itself can dysregulate the internal system, but sometimes it can be just a matter of touch and just asking them how you feel and just reassuring. Just those words of reassurance goes a long way.
Wow. Wow.
It's a
So
part of touch. Yeah.
So did you always know that you wanted to be a nurse?
That's a very interesting question because you know why? I come from a family tree of nurses, as I told last time, and I was like a headless chicken at the time when I was going into nursing. I had no clue what to do in life. I had no clue at my age. What should I do? So, everyone is into nursing. Oh, just apply for it. And I wasn't doing great in my studies because I was in a fantasy land, it's like daydreaming. I was very carefree at my age. At that age, very carefree. I was the younger in the family. I'm the younger daughter. And I was just all about play and fun and giggles and talks. And then I wasn't sure what to do. And it took me a while to settle in. At the same time, considering my personality, I'm a very deeply emotionally attuned person.
Yeah.
I mean, at this stage, I think we need to know ourselves.
Oh, yes.
It's about
Absolutely.
self-discovery. It's about
Yeah.
self-discovery. And I think when I started doing that, I realized that, yes, definitely, I have emotionally attuned. But to be able to attune to someone else's needs, first, I need to know myself and emotionally attune with my own self. That the self piece became very, very important in the last 4 to 5 years, I must say. That's where my journey began. No, I never knew that. I didn't know what I was going to be like. The way some kids have vision of this they should be. I had no clue.
Yeah.
I was clueless.
Now, do your daughters want to be a nurse or they want to work in a medical field or what?
Well, my younger one would say sometimes, oh, how is it, to live too? But I know it's an extremely challenging space.
Yeah.
And very, very challenging. And it's gone more challenging
Yeah.
simply because of the stress and the workload.
Yeah.
There are many who would love to dedicate and do, but when they come and work for a short period of time as students, when they come in and they are like baffled,
Yes.
so
Yes.
they have that fear,
Yeah.
and especially as nurses, it's the onus is always on the nurses, to handle, because we are at the bedside. We know the patients in and out.
Yeah.
Whereas doctors come, they write and they go, but we have one-to-one interaction and we kind of relate with them.
Right. Right.
We kind of talk to
Absolutely.
them,
Yeah.
we listen to them. So that
Mhm.
offers a whole new level of human connection.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
not everyone's cup of tea, because it's quite demanding. It's all about energy. For me to listen to someone and offer my time, it demands energy. And if my
Mhm.
reserves are empty, if I'm running low on my personal challenges, I will not be able to offer.
Right.
For me, then it would be just about getting things done. And that's what I observe in many people. It's just get the things done because they have a lot of personal challenges and they're
Yeah.
not regulating themselves. So yeah, but it's a beautiful space. It really, really opens eyes to something phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I may have told you my niece, who I'm very
Mm,
close to, has been as a profession as a nurse, and so was my mother. My mother was a nurse as well. And of course, it's even more demanding now than
mm,
it was back then, because so many things have transpired over time, and you find people that burn out and just all kinds of stuff. But I love what you're talking about when you talk about the human connection, when you talk
mm,
about self-discovery and knowing yourself and being able to come to a space with gratitude and that human connection and touching
mm,
people. Because when someone, like, I've never been in ICU, personally. I've experienced it when my sister passed away, and I've witnessed, some very interesting situations where you find one nurse that is like, they just want to love on them. Like, they
mm,
just so caring. And then you find, like you were saying, you find others that is just a task. I just want to get
mm,
this done, check
mm.
off the boxes, check, 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 get to the next. If I was ever in ICU, I would want you to be my nurse.
Done.
I just want to, I'm just saying, I know you're in Ireland. The care and the empathy just exudes, it just
Mm,
comes through. Every time I
mm.
talk to you, you're bubbly. I don't know whether you had a good night or a bad night. I can't ever tell, because your personality is always consistent. We've been on the phone hours at a time. But I just wanted to say that what a gift that is to the world. What a gift you
Yes.
are to the world and to the people that you're impacting. Now, let's talk a little bit more about your podcast,
Mm,
because we've talked about your background and how that is impacting the podcast. So let's talk a little bit more about the podcast, as well as the fact that you are a life coach, because
mm,
all of those things are connected. So let's talk about your business and then your podcast. So tell the people a little bit more about your business as a life coach and what you
mm.
do.
Yeah, so when I figured what I have to do in life, there came a point where I figured that, yes, definitely I'm a nurse, but there's something else that I'm capable of. And I have a great potential to listen. And yeah, listening is very, very profound in today's times, which is missing. And being able to relate with someone. And that's when I decided to do the course in coaching and 2 years ago. And at that point, I think it was one of the best investment ever that I did on myself doing the course. And I knew that by doing that, it was a very intense course, but it brought the best version because it was focusing on values and beliefs. We often think coaching is just like, even for myself, when I was used to hear about coaching, I never knew what that was until I did the course. And I'm like, wow, this is a game changer, because the surge of energy, the positive energy, was incredibly amazing. Because every time, and we did it online because the COVID was still there, which was great. We would listen to lectures, but we had a deep bonding within the group, although we were online, because each one of us were so positively charged. And what we were taught was self-reflection every time. And every time at the end of the session, we had to have always starts off with values. we used to contract on values. And the reason why I'm sharing is that because we live our life on values. Every moment, every action reflects our values. Everything, what we do comes from a space of values. So when I started, we used to contract on values at the start of the lecture and at the end of the session, we used to contract on values. And trust me, the first assignment, and the reason why I'm sharing is, which we found very interesting, was the first assignment was, who do you think you are? So basically it's your self-discovery piece. It is going inside and knowing who you are. And that's what coaching is all about. And when you sit with yourself, which is a challenge for many people, to sit with themselves and with their thoughts. So when we can't sit with ourselves, we try external means to keep ourselves occupied, And I think when I started writing on that, who do you think you are? It put me into a very beautiful space, And I'm like, wow, this is it. This is what life is all about. This is what actually coaching means. And I was like, if I have a client in front of me, often as a coach, you only do 20% talking. 80% talking is from the client. Your role as a coach is to listen.
Listen, right.
And to ask questions. So when you ask a question to the client, you are putting them in a space of thought. You're putting them in a spotlight of, they go inside themselves and they start reflecting. So your questions have to be powerful. It can be challenging. It can put a little bit of pressure on the client, but a good pressure. It's like a cocoon, it's like coming out of a cocoon for the butterfly, being in that pressure, but it comes up beautiful. So I figured that, yes, this is something which will suit me really, really well. And after the course, I set up my own website along with one of my friends who was in the course as well, and she was a web designer, and everyone hired her.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I when I started understanding whom should I serve, what kind of a coach, it was about women, because that's where I came from.
Right.
Because that's what I can offer in that space with the client, and I think I was focusing on 3 areas: on empowering women. Second was health and wellness, because yes, my health was compromised.
Wow, yeah.
So, and it's a shifted. It's like I've taken a 1,000-degree turn in terms of my health, I turn back and see it's not the same person anymore, so I've come out of that cocoon, so health was priority, and empowering myself. I realized that that's one area which I can offer to the women out there. And second was mindfulness, because definitely that is an area which I have worked on. So you can only offer to someone what you have.
Exactly. So mindfulness, you said mindfulness and self, I'm sorry, I said
empowering
was it
women.
self? Yes. Empowerment and health and wellness.
So these are the 3 areas I'm focusing on. And so I do take, people who are lacking in these areas, who would like to bring about change in their
Got
life.
it.
Everything
They have
is
to
about
want
change.
it. They have to want it, right?
Yeah.
They have to want it.
It's their willingness. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. Which is true. When we are ready,
Yeah.
everything opens up,
Yeah.
When we are closed, nothing is there. It's just, it's there, but we are not ready. So, but I focus on women who would like to bring about changes in themselves, in whatever areas, provided they are ready.
Yeah.
So, I do find even in the recent times, just yesterday, I was talking to someone, I met someone who's got a lot of health issues, and I can clearly see where it's coming from. I can clearly see it where it's coming from, but they just believe in just go, because I've been there. And today I know I have changed so much. And I know people would ask me, what have you done? Are you losing weight? You look so different. You are so much better now. What is it you've done? I said, just change your mindset. Just open up, just change your mindset. It's moving from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset.
Wow.
And it's only I think 2 or 3% of the population in the world think positively, because we're hardwired to think negatively, and we are so much and I think for every one negative charge, you need 3 positive charges,
Okay.
because the charge is negative is so strong.
Got
So
it.
the people on the positive spectrum really have to work hard to keep that balance.
Wow.
And that's very interesting, something which I learned in the course. And I'm like, that's true. Like you
Yeah.
just need one person with a negative mindset in a group of 100 who can hamper
Yeah.
the ambience.
Right. So walk me through when a person comes to you. So when a client comes to you, what are the steps? Do they come to you because they say they see how your life has transformed, or is it because they become aware of themselves and say, okay, something's wrong here? What is the space they're in mentally, or how do they come to you? And just walk me through that process.
Yeah. So the first thing is to assess how willing they are to change. Now, coming from a space of seeing I have changed, that will not help them.
Got it. Okay.
If they come from a space that they want to change, because they have awareness is the greatest catalyst for change.
Ooh, that's a good quote right there.
Awareness is the greatest catalyst for change. If you're not aware, you're not going to change. If you're not aware, it means you're ignorant and you'll continue to be the way you are. You would live life the way you were living 10 years ago.
Awareness is the greatest catalyst for change. I love it. Okay, go ahead.
So if they're coming from a space of saying, oh, something has shifted in you, what did you do? I would like to do that. That never works.
Wow.
But I would like to know, how much are they willing to change? What willingness muscle they have, and how are they willing to work on themselves consistently? Or they're going to be persistent? Because change is daunting. So they often sometimes some of them come with a quick fix. What can fix my problem in 2 weeks?
Wow.
So there's no magic wand, unfortunately.
Right.
No matter where, even if you cross the 7 seas and go to someone, there's no magic wand.
That's like somebody coming to the hospital, like, you fix me in 2 weeks. Like, it doesn't work that way. Go ahead. Sorry.
Because change demands working on yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And often people don't want to work on themselves. Well, they would like to change, but
they don't
something
want
is
to do the
at
work.
the click of a button,
Yeah. Yeah. Like that
Because-
microwave. Let me just hit the microwave button, and then in 30 seconds, I'm good to go.
If that was the case, life would have been so easy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Everything would have been easy peasy lemon squeezy, but that's not the way. In
Right.
fairness, you have to put in extra effort, not effort, but you have to have that determination and the willingness to change.
And I love this quote again. It all starts with awareness. That is the greatest catalyst for change.
Yes, so I started working on myself, Aldreama, and I started reading books. I got obsessed with books. My challenges really pushed me. It was like as if my back was on fire.
Wow. That's a great way to put that.
Yeah, and I changed the course of my actions and my attitude towards life so much that I became obsessed. I started listening to these talks from great spiritual masters, people who have shaped the planet in different ways, and I was really, really, really obsessed. And I still am. And I know that I'm going to be, because I listen to their talks even when I'm in the bathroom.
Yes. Yeah.
So what is that? I was assessing even before coming in for the session today. I was thinking, what is it? There's something in me that is pushing, and that's your calling. That's your calling. So if someone comes to me with the willingness muscle to change and bring about an impact in themselves, then they will eventually change, but it's an inside job.
Yes, my gosh.
And no one can change anyone.
Oh my goodness. Girl, you are really hitting it today, girl. Go ahead.
I really think, Aldreama, it's like, even as I was coming here before, I was in my head, I'm like, simply because I must share, just 2 days ago, I met somebody. And the interesting thing is that they were sharing about, they were asking me about the podcast, and she just opened up. And there were so many values that were compromised in her life. But she figures that she is 30 and that it's the end of the world. There's nothing that she can do. I said, so sorry, you're only 30.
Yeah. Wow.
That's because you're tied under societal norms. And I could see that thread. You're tied and pulled in different directions. And you believe that you have to listen to what others tell you. And that she has some dreams she would like to do that. I said, you know what? I actually got topics. I had those topics, but because someone was telling me, I'm like, you know what? I told this Miss X, this is going to be my topic. And I got 3 topics from that. And I'm like, this definitely has to come out because, I think it got her emotional because she wants to chase her dreams and do something, but she's tied under some mindset, some culture which stops her, and which is sad because we only live once,
Yeah.
And I said, you're only 30, but my life began at 40.
Yeah. I think mine
Life
began at 60.
Life actually began at 40. Up until
Wow.
that, I was no less than a headless chicken figuring my pathway,
Yeah.
but it's we need that space. So,
Yes.
the willingness of the client is very, very important, and
Yeah.
how much are they going to work on themselves?
Yeah.
And that it's a slow process, that there is no specific set time that, you're going to change and I'm going to bless you. You're going to change in 2 months.
So you set a realistic, perspective, an outcome that's more realistic, other than like, okay, I'm going to wave my magic wand and then tomorrow you'll be just fine. So that they know that it's a journey, it's not a sprint. Oh yeah. So I love that. I love that. So let's talk a little bit more about your podcast, because I love what you said just a minute ago. You said in having a conversation with that person that gave you some more topics. So what are some things that you'll be sharing on your podcast? And we'll talk about where to find it and all that kind of stuff. So
so about my podcast, what is it about? It's about, this word freedom. There's something, I don't know what is it, but something about that word being free. And that's when when I was picking up the name for my website for coaching, I was like, free your potential, free. So it means because I was tied up.
Right. Yeah.
So what happened in that space? I became free. Emotionally, I became free. Mentally, I became free. I started expressing more. I wasn't scared of the norms and traditions, and I was willing to come out of that cocoon. So I became free. It's like a phoenix, you really have to fall down to experience that, and then you rise up, and then once you rise up, there's no turning back. And freedom, free. So even when I was picking up the name for the podcast, I'm like, I initially, as I said, my initial one was her
wings.
What is it? I forgot that. Her wings of fire. And
her wings of fire.
Yeah. Okay. And then I changed it to her free wings, because I picture a woman, an everyday woman who's tied up and then would like those wings to shake off, because we have so much of potential. But because I come from India, and I know that I come from a space whereby, the culture is so staunch, religious beliefs and cultural mindset, and it kind of tie us down, and they make us believe that you have to be the good daughter or the good daughter-in-law, the good wife or the good mother. And that's not where our identity is, and that I was very strong-headed. So for me, her free wings. You have free your wings. And then I meet you and I'm like, wow, look at you. You're in your 60s and you have so much of passion, zeal, and zest. What stops us? We stop ourselves, Aldreama.
Yeah, we do.
We put ourselves in our path of growth, and then we take the liberty to blame society or others.
Yeah.
We just need to muster that. It isn't easy. We end up being alone often, but it's a beautiful space.
Absolutely.
It's a beautiful space. So that's why my podcast is Her Free Wings. And I am focusing on vulnerability. I'm focusing on building confidence, and women who've taken a backseat, who would like to do something different, but someone might have told them to do this. So they follow it and then they carry it into adulthood. But there's always a sign of unhappiness and discontent, which is, I think, it kind of upsets me. It really kind of upsets me because I've been there. I really have been there. And I'm like, oh my God, that was me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah.
5-7 years ago, that was me. So naive and timid and, It's
Yeah.
okay, just nod to what people say, and then you just break that barrier,
Yeah.
but that definitely demands so much of courage and strength. And it's
Yeah.
like always a fight against goodness and evil.
Yep. Absolutely.
It comes down to that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
we're not here to please anybody.
Right.
That's my mantra. We're not here forever. We're not
Right.
here to please anybody, because there comes a point when we don't want to, we couldn't carry regrets,
Yes.
and often people carry a lot of regrets,
Yeah.
which I didn't want to do. If I personally think, coming from the space of nursing, if life has to end tomorrow, I will not carry any regrets, because I was doing whatever I could and add value,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm telling it to the women, so as I said, I was having this conversation, and she wanted to share. Well, she's like, "Oh, I couldn't open your link." And I was like, "Oh, it's in Spotify." And she found it, and she's like, "I'm going to listen." And then she just opened up, because she realized that I'm doing something extraordinary. I give talk at work, and then she has so many dreams. She wanted to be a dancer and a couple of things, but always stopped by the family.
Got it.
And she's still carrying that. And I'm like, how long?
Wow.
How
That is so.
long? It is very powerful, very touching. It was quite touching, and we had a lovely chat. And I'm like, you know what, Miss X, I have a couple of topics from you. Great.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Something it will open eyes to many women, and people do talk, but they don't want to work on it.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I mean, that is such another powerful statement that you made, because we want to stay in that place of comfort, which is not good for us.
It's never good. It's fine sometimes, but if it seems comforting, it's
Yeah.
actually not. It's
Right.
deep down, there is a lot of discomfort.
Yeah. Yeah. But we've gotten to a place where we don't realize that we're uncomfortable because we're comfortable in our discomfort, if that makes sense. And so it's kind of like having a needle or something stuck in our hand, but we don't realize that it's there because we've gotten comfortable with the needle in our hand, but because, oh my gosh, there's been so many, powerful things. So you're an ICU nurse. So you have a business, you work, you have a podcast. What do you have going on right now? Do you have a program that you're offering people, or how can someone get in contact with you to find out more about your life coaching program?
Yes, about the program. Now that's something which I need to work on, because
Gotcha.
ideas, yeah, because ideas are just coming up into my head, and I know in the last couple of days I had to devote time to to the kids and a couple of things which demanded a lot of attention. So I was not able to get the time to focus. But I know that I will have something in my mind that I can offer, and I know it will come to me. It will come to me. But at the moment, no. I haven't thought about it.
Yeah.
Because I just found that, as you were showing me the podcast, the trend, and I know I've not opened it.
Yeah.
I've not opened it.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is that when you're telling me, oh, there are this many followers and this is this, I'm like, is it for real? Like, there came a doubt, like, do you really listen? Because you sometimes, you have those moments when you doubt your potential, like, is that for real? And that's normal, but I acknowledge it. And I'm like, well, I'm here for that. And I know I'll do it.
Yeah.
And it isn't easy in the midst of balancing everything.
Yeah.
Yet I know that the passion in me, I have this desire in me that I have to get it out.
Yeah.
Because I cannot
But
sleep.
you do work with people one-on-one. You work with your
do
clients
one-on-one.
Yeah.
One-on-one, yeah.
So
I would, and I have few clients at the moment. When you start off a business, it takes a while to get going. Yeah. But I haven't figured about this. That's something which I need to work on, having a program or a package, that will that can attract people, that will add value.
well, let me say this on your behalf. Like, so whenever someone actually listens to this recording, this podcast, you do work one-on-one with clients. And so as a life coach, you do help them to realize the potential within them. And so you can still help them even if you don't have an official
package right now, because sometimes what people will do is they will work one-on-one with clients, and then eventually they open up a group program or a membership or something like that. And so your virtual doors are still open, even though you don't have an official program, but people can still reach out to you if they're looking for your service, if they're female, if they feel like anything that you have described on this episode resonates with them, they need to reach out to you.
Yeah, and I do have a contact. So what happens on the website is a contact form, and they can fill in the form and email it to me, and I get a request from them. And what happens once I get the request is, they say, for example, Mr. X, Miss X wants, wants to work on, say, self-confidence, on building confidence. And I'll do a discovery call with this person. So in this discovery call, definitely it can be half an hour to 40 minutes, and it's about knowing the person in short. It's about knowing how open they are to change. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. If they come from a space where they have been told by somebody that you should do coaching, then it won't work. It should be their own 100% willingness to come in and bring about a change in their life.
Yeah.
So there are certain questions to which I should expect some reasonable awareness answer, which will tell me that yes, this person is ready. And then we kind of, work at their pace in terms of booking sessions, once every 2 weeks or once every 3 weeks, and they will have small, obviously it's very powerful sessions, every 1 to 1.5 hour sessions. And then you obviously have questions, and they have some exercises to work on, but at the end of the day, it's their choice to work on themselves.
Absolutely. They have to want to see transformation more than you do.
Yeah. I'm shining the light.
Right.
Now, my role as a coach is to shine the light.
Yeah.
That's what we do for each other. You shine the light. Now, I cannot walk for them.
That's right.
I'm shining the light, but if they walk, the light is there, but they're walking in the darkness, it's their choice.
That's right.
So I walk with them, along with them, guide and support them. But at the end of the day, I know that they are completely resourceful. The thing about coaching, which I need to emphasize, is that often people think that the coach is changing their life. No.
Right.
The coach believes, I as a coach believe that all my clients are completely resourceful, that they have all the necessary resources.
Exactly.
The only thing I'm doing is I'm just getting them more aware.
Yeah.
I'm just shining the light.
Because what? Awareness is the greatest
Catalyst for change.
catalyst. I couldn't read my handwriting. Awareness is the greatest catalyst for change.
So as we wrap up this episode, is there like one thing that you would like to share with those that may be listening at this time?
Yes, we got to believe in ourselves. Certain nuggets, which from my experiences, we have to trust our instincts. And when we trust in our instincts and we believe in ourselves, the universe joins forces. This is one thing, definitely. The universe joins forces. It's an invisible, powerful source which is there. You can give it any name we want, but it's only through the self piece. So I personally, it's just a voice in me telling that you got to believe in yourself and trust in your instincts. And to do that, you have to sit in silence, even for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And if someone telling me, I recently gave a talk to a group of staff, and I have my podcast on that. And I just love that question about loving oneself. And I was amazed.
Yeah.
No one rose their hands. There was no hands up in the air. And I was really amazed. And I'm like, this is a great topic. The concept of loving oneself.
Yeah.
And because the whole universe is within us. So we need to believe in ourselves. We need to trust in our instincts. We all have it. But to listen to that, we need to sit in silence. And just for a few minutes, it's so important. We cannot be all the time doing and, cut off. We are disconnected from ourselves. This is my key message, because I find that sense of disconnection. And that's when we lean on external sources, in the form of food or drugs or entertainment, whatever.
Right.
Because we're not able to sit with ourselves, and so crucial. That's my key message there. So it's especially for women who are handling and juggling many things. I am being there, and I am in the moment in that situation, but I know I have tools to deal with it.
That's right. That's
I have
right.
tools and I have boundaries,
That's right.
and I just step
Yeah.
back, so
Yeah.
that's very important, so that's a key message, is just being kinder to ourselves, because life is short
Absolutely.
and it's
Yes,
beautiful.
yes, it is. Well,
Yeah.
CG, it is always a pleasure
Thank
talking,
you.
always, always, always. And to those who are listening or watching, the links to the podcast will be in the show notes, but the name of the podcast is
Her free wings.
Free Wings. I should know this. I'm managing your podcast. I'm the one that helped you with your. I should know this, right? We just looked at it.
That's you're
But
forgiven. You're forgiven,
right,
Aldreama.
okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And so, for those of you who felt a little nudge or something that said, I need to reach out to CG, make sure that you reach out to her. Again, the information is going to be in the show notes of this episode, as well as her episode, in terms of how to reach her. And CG, I'm just so proud of you. I'm so excited to have worked with you through this podcasting journey. So let me tell you something. She is really rocking the podcast space. I'm just saying. So she is having a good time with her podcast, and she's having a good time in life, really. And when you talk to her, it just shows. It just comes up, like she's always bubbly. And so, but anyway, reach out to her, and if anything that she said resonated with you and you want to engage with her in her program, or even just listening to her podcast, when you listen to that, you're going to walk away feeling energized, feeling motivated and inspired. I know I did when I listened to it, and when I was, setting things up for you. So I'm so
Thank you.
excited.
Thank you very
I'm
much for your
very
time
excited.
and for your help, Aldreama. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so thank you all for listening to the OrganizedPreneur podcast Launchpad. If you are interested in launching your own podcast, then feel free to reach out to me. You will see that information in the show notes as well. So if you're listening to the podcast, you got a big assignment. We just gave you an assignment. So everybody have an amazing day, and we will talk to you on the next episode. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.